Hello, everyone. Welcome into another episode of the Strive Sports Podcast. Back again. Took a little bit of a hiatus from everything. I guess, Marcus, on the topic of big news, I know we talked off camera. You got some things you're going to get into. Big news here. I've officially registered an LLC. I'm doing big boy stuff right now with Strive Sports. We're up and running. We've reached 10,000 accounts. I checked today. Milestones on milestones. Could not be done without the audience and the following. I'm trying to grow it. I'm trying to grow the YouTube. You know, they say it's a marathon, not a sprint. And a guy who doesn't have patience, it's a little difficult. So nevertheless, I thank you guys for continuously supporting. For those that keep on watching my content and keep on interacting with it, can't thank you enough. Speaking of content, my next guest has not only become one of my favorite follows throughout all of my social feeds but his content is a testament to his creativity and his dedication to the videography and creative content realm. A native of Houston, Texas, my esteemed guest most recently finished a 4-month excursion along with myself with the United States Football League, assisting in the content production for the Memphis, Tennessee hub this past season in the spring of 2023. He was working for the teams, the Houston Gamblers and the Memphis Showboats. You can definitely find him and follow him at IJ Visuals 22 on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. He attended McNeese State University, Lake Charles, Louisiana. Stand up. He is the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Marcus Gray. Marcus, how you doing?
Sir.
Happy
Doing
Thursday.
pretty good, man. Doing pretty good. Appreciate you having me on, man. It's great, man. I've been tuning in to a couple of your podcasts, man, your segments, man, and I love it, man. You're doing a great thing, man. Just keep on pushing. I know you say you're impatient. We all are as creators, man, but sometimes you just, it's all about the journey, man. So just keep on going 1 foot at a time.
Yeah, you know what they say, Rome wasn't built in a day. And obviously
Oh no.
I got some growing pains. I'm getting back 2 weeks removed and I can't even get through a monologue. I'm trying, but I can't thank you enough for your support. But enough about the podcast, enough about me. This one is about you. And I know a lot of people, and I'm going to be honest, and I don't mean this in a negative way whatsoever. A lot of the people that are of my following are from my area, so they might not be familiar with who you are, but that's all right. That is what this podcast is for. I want to introduce someone who is also a very well-versed individual in the content realm, creative realm. Icebreaker here. I need to know your icks as a content creator. What are the 3 icks, the pet peeves of a content creator or a videographer, photographer?
Man, it is a touchy subject for because everybody have their own, man. For me, my number one would probably be I was actually talking to my girlfriend earlier about this, but it's actually like gatekeeping, I guess you say, quote unquote gatekeeping. So it's like when you reach out to, any other creative that thought that the work was dope or, just inspired and kind of inspiration
Yeah.
in their work. And you just reach out and be like, hey, can I pick your brain a little bit? Or, hey, like, how did you come up with this? Not really come up with this shot, but how did you get this shot? And then they'll be like, oh, it just kind of happened. Or, oh, they just beat around the bush. So, gatekeeping would probably be one. Like, I mean, we're all creatives here. We're all trying to learn, we're all trying to grow, try to push ourselves. So I feel like, why gatekeep when you can, pass the knowledge on. So it's so much work in the sports world. Like it's so much work. So I would say gatekeeping. During the games probably would be probably other photographers or videographers not respecting your space. So
That's the wrong sounder. Right there. Yeah. No. Yeah.
So that one is like it goes unnoticed because we're in the game and we're focused on our shots and all that stuff. But I'm the person that I like no, like if you see me already kneel down, pointing in a certain direction, and yes, there is space like to my left or to my right. And if I'm shooting to my left, there is space to my left, of course, because I respect everybody needs space. But don't go forward upward though. Like get on my side. Like don't go a little bit upward and then some having the play goes more to my left and I get all you in my shot. So it's like, so that's one of the other ones, just, not respecting other creative space out on the sideline. And then, what's another one? Man, put me on the spot like that. What's another
I'll
one?
give you a break if you want, because I've got some like,
I hit you with two good ones. I hit you with two pretty good ones. So
all right,
let's see what you got. What you
I'll
got?
follow that up. I'll follow that up. Wow. I guess as like a creative in general, I'm gonna second the notion of people getting in the way. And I'm not gonna name names. It's not gonna be me. But I can recall a time over the span of the past year, which may or may have not been with my previous venture. Um, I was standing to get a shot, and there was an individual that was behind me. And look, here's the thing: in a situation where it's, you've got okay, it was a football game. All right, it was a football game, and and uh, and I can remember vividly being on the sideline, and so my colleague had went to go get another shot. So kind of like rotate. We're moving areas here, and there's certain rules and things you have to abide by, as especially as in the previous position that I was, because you have certain areas that you're supposed to operate. Well, in this circumstance, when your colleague is moving to another location, it kind of forces you into the area where you need to get the shot and help to facilitate the content and keep the ball rolling. Well, in this circumstance, everybody was kind of confining themselves in one area, which I can understand can be a bit of a hassle. But when everybody's kind of over the like contorting themselves in front of you, and you're trying to do your best to get the shot, and then you got a gentleman or somebody behind you that's like taking a picture, and they're like on their knees and everything, and it's like, dude, I'm trying my best to let everybody down the line, do their thing, but it's difficult when I got shoulders in front of me. Needless to say, the guy wasn't too happy with me. Look, it was warranted. It was valid. I get it. I didn't do it again, but in the moment, I was just like, what a jerk, man. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, you don't really have to come off in a mean way. And at the end of the day, it's one shot, and typically the people there, they get bulk shots. So I understand it, but yeah. And then you know what? I'm sorry. I hate to do it again. I agree with the gatekeeping.
Yeah.
I agree that, because you and we often have conversations, and they're mostly predicated on how to get better, because
Yeah, for sure.
we're all in a space. There's nobody perfect in this field, but there are people that excel at adding their own sauce, is what it's. You can never share too much information. People always have their different style and their different signature on things. And that's what I've come to realize and respect, that it's so diverse when it comes to creative content, especially in the realm of sports. When it boils down to your mind and your imagination, but all the ideas and the steps to help create that. And because you learn from somebody at the end of the day,
Yeah,
and they
for
learn from
sure.
somebody at the end of the day. Like, I told you all the accounts, and I'm an open book. Whatever you want to learn in terms of editing, I will give it to you if you ask. But I think what differentiates you from everyone else, and myself included, I guess, in the editing aspect, still learning video, but in the editing aspect, I think it's the sauce is that changes everything up. But third peeve here. I'm still holding you to it. It's got to be
Yeah,
something.
you is.
Third one's the
Ah,
equipment. It's got to be the SD card. When the SD card runs out, when the battery goes dead. Oh my God, Marcus. I had so many freaking times when the battery went dead. I could never have too many batteries. What was it like for you?
yeah, I definitely learned my lesson on the battery stuff now. So now I have about 5 or 6 batteries that I keep it on rotation. But probably would be my last. It would probably be um it's kind of tied into the gatekeeping, but it's just when this is not no one's in particular, but when a person makes it to like the next level
Mhm.
and they forgot that, they were down here with, the normal people that's trying to make it to that next level. So I guess like whenever they get to where they want to get, in the creative world, and then they just forget, like, hey, like I was once, down there. So
Mhm.
so that would probably be my life. So all those, as you can tell, all those icks is like more of a just I guess a personal thing, like how you is as a person. So that's probably for me, that's all my icks is just, the person in general. So just
I may lose followers over this one because you just inspired this comment. When people don't give you credit or tag you for content and just take it without asking,
yeah.
and you didn't even make it,
Ah,
it wasn't
man,
theirs in the first place. I'm stepping on toes right now.
man.
I counted 6 times, 6 times over the span of the past week. I've seen stuff that I've created, and I hate to break the news to you guys, but if you haven't caught on yet, guess who runs Strive? I do the podcasting, I do the posting, I do the graphics, I do it all. But I mean, oftentimes you're engaging with me. I know I say we a lot, but I really mean myself and I.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I've counted like 5 or 6 times. I've had somebody, and you know what? I don't let it get to me because I'm like, I was once a person who would take something because I like the idea, and I would just like I would share it out of like, oh, this is awesome, this is cool. And I kind of get where these are and mind you, most of my audience is, younger, and they're still you kind of navigating that realm and everything.
Hmm.
And I get it, man. It's just, you kind of appreciate it because you hope that maybe those people will kind of get inspired and they'll want to do their own thing and kind of, create their own wave. So if I can do that, I try to see the positives in it. So I never
Yeah.
let it get to me. And if anything, I promote it and I joke around with the account
Yeah.
now and then. But yeah.
Yeah,
So
here and there. Yeah, yeah. I've experienced that, man, a couple of times. I actually experienced it right before I came to the USFL though. Shooting a 7-on-7 game. It was a sick play in general. The quarterback was falling down, threw it up.
mhm.
The receiver went up and caught up like 3 or 4 bodies, and it went viral, man. OT7 wanted it. SportCenter liked it. They didn't actually repost it. I was kind of salty on that, but they liked it. But as weeks and months goes by, man, people were tagging me, and then some random account posted it, and I got tagged like 5 times. And they were like, "Get this man his credit, get this man his credit." And I'm messaging the account like, "Hey, this is my video." Like they literally and that's the other thing. If you're gonna take it, like take it right. Like don't screen record it, like because then you just knocking over the quality. IG already hits the quality as it is, so like if you're gonna take it right. Like just go to IG downloader or something and download it from that, man. But they screen recorded it, like, and it was just, yeah. So
I,
I piggyback on that one, man. Yeah,
I just want
just
to
taking it.
put out a disclaimer for anybody that wants to take anything. All you have to do is ask. We love notoriety. We're just like athletes in the sense that we love vanity too, because we know,
Yeah,
like, we get it, man. And you know what? I could go for days on this. When they don't tag you in the post and they like,
yeah,
okay, if it's transactional and you're paying for the service and they don't tag you, okay, that's fine. That's warranted.
yeah,
I
yeah.
get that.
I mean, yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
You pay for it.
I
Yeah,
still want the
yeah,
credit though, but
yeah.
a tag would be nice.
Mhm.
A tag would be nice. But anyway,
Yeah.
no, we're nice people. Like you really don't. We're
Really are, yeah. Just ask. Yeah. Look,
exactly.
just a little pointer out there, you guys. We we want the video to go viral too. So, just if the video goes viral for you, it'll help us if you tagged us, you know what I'm saying? So we're more than happy to share it.
Yeah,
Just, tag us. You ain't gotta
yeah,
download it illegally and
yeah.
but
We record
just
it.
just ask, man. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Screen record. Yeah, please don't screen record. Man,
Hey,
that was it was and what's crazy is the video still did numbers and it was screen recorded. I was like, man, this is crazy.
where you
It's
at? So
crazy.
did you hit like 5 figures or what are we talking here? What was the do you recall like how viral?
Well, mine's wasn't too bad. I think it was like 35K. So I mean, I have like 2,000 followers, so that's still pretty good. OT7 was close to 1 million.
Gotcha.
So, but the person that stole it was like 70K, 80K. So it outdid mine.
Damn.
You know,
Hey,
I'm like, that's why I was really heated. So I'm like, man, I tried to report it, but it's still up there. I still go back and check from time to time, see if it's still up there.
Marcus, I want to open up with your story, man, because I just need to know personally, because I don't know a lot about your background other than the USFL. And for those that might not know, what was your come up like? What got you into videography? And kind of tell me a little bit about your background leading up to the USFL.
Okay, yeah, so not a problem. I don't want to bore
Yeah.
anyone with a long story, but my journey has definitely been a very interesting one. It's been hard work. It's been dedication, man. I started off in 2019 shooting sports photography. Like I said, I did attend McNeese for a little while from 2012 to I say 2015. I played ball there, so that's kind of my background on sports photography. But once I moved to Houston, man, I decided like just go ahead and do it to the sports world. A lot of people may know of North Shore High, so it's a pretty big high school down here in Houston. So I went and shot a couple games for them, and my pretty much my breakthrough moment happened the same year that I started doing sports photography. So I took a pregame still from the North Shore versus Westfield game, and Under Armour actually reached out to me, was like, "Hey, we like this still. Can we use it to promote it on our page and all that good stuff?" So once they reached out to me my first year doing sports photography, that was kind of like, "Oh yeah, well I can do this." Like, if Under Armour wants one of my pictures that I feel like just it wasn't really that good, but they loved it. So once they reached out, I was like, "Yeah, I can definitely do this." But what got me into sports videography was actually the quarterback that was there at North Shore. His name is Demetrius Davis. He's now current, I think, Alabama A&M. I think that's what it is. It's a HBCU. So I may have said it wrong, but I think it is Alabama A&M. But he was at Auburn and then he transferred. But he had wanted me to do pretty much a commitment video. So he was committed to Virginia Tech. So I did that, and then a lot of local kids actually liked the video, and that kind of translated to, hey, come out to my games and catch some videos and stuff like that. So that's kind of how I got into sports videography. So
That is a tremendous come up right there, and for Under Armour to acknowledge, just a simple still, it's like, and
yeah,
I mean, I guess in your opinion, you're like, this is just routine stuff for me. Like, what
yeah,
do you guys want this for? But to see
yeah.
that happen out of just nowhere, so like, what's the, you don't have to go too far in depth, but I am
hmm
curious, what is it like trying to communicate? What are the logistics that go on behind the scenes when a company acknowledges an image or something? Is there any sort of like legal logistics that you have to take on in order for a transaction to take place, or how do they typically go about that, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, yeah, no, not at all. Well, the way Under Armour did it was basically just a normal reach out message. So they're just like, hey, we really love this image. Do you mind if we post it to our Instagram, Twitter, and we'll also give you recognition, pretty much tag you in there. And he shot me an email. We kind of talked like outside of that, but besides that, it was just like a normal message. He just wanted to post the image, and I was like, yeah, of course. And then he was just pretty much like, I need the raw image. He didn't want my editing style, which is fine, but because the raw was still pretty dope, but I just liked the effect on there. But I guess Under Armour doesn't use filters unless their guys do the editing for it.
I mean, I'm coming from an Under Armour school. I've seen those guys actually at some of the football teams, because they'll watch their products kind of on the sidelines. You'll have some of the textile, some of the designers is what I'm trying to say. They'll be in
hmm
some of the games. They'll spectate some of the games, and it's prevalent nowadays because you have so many contracts with high schools and everything. Nike will show up. They'll send reps. Adidas, a lot more bigger schools, but Under Armour has been known to frequent my area because they do have a lot of schools in this area under contract. So that is a super neat story, and that's a great, that is an awesome breakthrough. So I want to segue. So going into, I read an article, and you probably saw it on the Google Doc that I shared with you, the Voyage Houston article. Really
Ah,
interview, really great perspective from back in 2019. I don't know, I don't know who the author was, or else I'd give you credit. I couldn't find an author on there. But
it
anyway,
was a while ago.
yeah, 2019 seems like forever. Um, so you basically opened up about what inspired you to get into the videography realm. You talk about a gentleman by the name of Creative Ryan, and I'm assuming, so it might be, it could be a woman. But this individual on YouTube was one of the key cogs in kind of expediting your future. I guess is kind of a game changer, really, because it changed the trajectory of your path and propelled you to where you are now. It was a very crucial foundation to what became what you are now, from what the article said. So kind of open up about your preliminary exposure to videography and what really pushed that. And then I guess if you want to open up about, what Creative Ryan was, how you came across it, and just, yeah, that come up.
Yeah, so I pretty much combine it all together, man. Really, so the Vogue interview was a shocking one for me. Vogue Houston is what it's called, so it's just like a local, magazine that reach out to creatives and people who's up and coming. So, um, it was a model that I shot with. Her name was Alexis Cummings, I think. So I guess the shoot that we did, they had seen it. So they reached out to her and she told them about me. So we had an interview. They just sat me down and just asked, just normal questions that you're asking, just, how's my life going with being, a creative and all that good stuff. So I was just pretty much, like you said, I was open with them. I was new to the world, and then, I talked about Creative Ryan, and really, man, he's a gentleman. He's from Atlanta, Georgia. So I was just, browsing through YouTube, just trying to learn photography, videography, and then he popped up, and just his first video was just like five steps to become a better photographer, videographer, or something like that. So it was just a little simple video, but just the way that he was engaging and just it just caught my eye. And then from there, like I still to this day, go watch his YouTubes and stuff like that. But he does music videos. So the background with that was when I was attending McNeese, I had to shoot a music video for one of my classes, and I was going for journalism. So that kind of I wish I should have sent you the video. It was terrible, but in a good way. But it was terrible. But I had to shoot a music video, so I got all my homeboys together, and we pretty much just went up there acting like we was rappers and stuff like that. But Creative Rhino really got me. I did say earlier, Demetrius Davis helped me get into shooting sports videography. But as far as like videography in general, Creative Rhino was the one that kind of like opened my eyes to it. Like man, I can really like this is dope, man. Like videography is dope. Like it's so dope. But yeah, man, it's an interesting route, man. When all said and done, my journey is gonna be like a very, very interesting one. Like very, very interesting.
Yeah, no, it's definitely it's shaping up to be like that, and definitely from the people that I've seen you work with, it seems like, and this is the beauty in being a creative. And I don't think people know this firsthand when they're the ones that are putting it together. But I guess I've kind of seen it with some of my work and everything, and I've definitely seen it with your work. Um, there's progression throughout everything. And obviously, I try to learn something new each day when it comes to creative, whether it's Photoshop, whether it's Illustrator, After Effects, Premiere. I feel like all those interfaces kind of interpret each other because they all kind of have the same tools. So it's kind of synonymous. But I try to adopt something from each of those and try to learn something each day. And over time, I've noticed, I went back a year ago and I looked at the first graphic that I ever did in Photoshop. Oh my God, it sucked. And it's like looked at compared to now, and I'm like, oh my God, there's growth. But I know
Yeah.
that I'm so far away from where I want to be in terms of creative. And I know that there's so much more to absorb and everything. I guess kind of pivoting in that sense, like, were you impatient with the grind? Is that something that's common? Because I feel like with me, it's like I can't stand another year of being where I'm at right now. I can't sit still. I gotta find something. I gotta get into this realm. What is it like in terms of I guess has it developed the intangible of patience in you as a creative? Yeah, kind of take me through what it's kind of instilled in you from an intangible standpoint.
Yeah, man. I'm totally in the same lane as you. Like I'm impatient, man. Literally every day that I talk to my girl about the grind is just like, man, because I know where I want to go, and I know that, like you said, I've growth like if y'all want, y'all can check out my YouTube. I have one football video on there. It's from North Shore versus Lake Travis in 2019. You
Mm.
watch that one. Is at IJ Visuals YouTube, all socials. I know you did say IJ Visuals 22, but it's I changed it. It's just regular IJ Visuals now. But if you check out that video and you watch it, and then you go watch my most recent one from North Shore, and you'll see you'll see like the shots are kind of the same as far as like what I'm trying to capture, but it's just capturing a better way. So like I'm tracking the ball better, I'm getting the emotion after the touchdown better. Like I'm doing more, fan interactions. Like I'm catching all those shots that shows growth, So I mean, yes, I'm still learning each and every day, like constantly scrolling through TikTok, Instagram, just, seeing like your videos. I watched your videos on like editing wise, like man, like because that's kind of like where I'm at a point in my career, is just like getting better at those sick edits. Like yes, I can get the shot, like for sure. Like I can get the touchdown, I can get the emotion, I can track the ball, you know what I'm saying? I can do all that. Now it's just piecing it together with a thicker edit. Like so After Effects, just putting in those After Effects in there, because nowadays is crazy, man. The edits are getting insane. So,
I want to say something real quick, and then
yeah.
this man, I want to tell you, I've been trying to figure it out in Premiere to this day, and I don't know if it's Sony's quality because that's what you shoot on. Um, some of the greatest slow motion clips I've ever seen, and I genuinely mean that. Like
Appreciate it.
it is display like it's slow. Like you've got the slow motion down, and I know people that I'm gonna get nerdy here, but A7 IIIs, Sony A7 IIIs, A7 IVs, you still have an A7 III, don't you?
Yes, I have the A7 III and then the A7S3.
A7
So
III. I
yeah.
was gonna say those are touted as some of the best slow motion cameras that are around because they shoot in 120 frames per second. Sorry, I got nerdy there, but but yeah, no, like those are some of and when you have someone with the capacity like you do, the knowledge to use it correctly, oh my god, dude, you've executed it perfectly. It's just beautiful. Your portfolio video, and I'm gonna plug everything in. You send me all the links. I'm getting it
I
all,
got you.
everything. But you go watch. I'm telling you, go watch his portfolio video on the USFL. It is one of the great. It's the best video I've seen this year, and I genuinely mean that. I genuinely,
Man,
it's a well
appreciate
shot.
that.
I genuinely mean that. But yeah, no, like I just had to throw that out there. You have executed a lot of skills that I am still trying to figure out. And
I
the
appreciate that, man, for
hundreds of
sure.
your equipment just pays dividends. You are a testament to that. So I just wanted to point that out there. But uh,
Appreciate that. Yeah, man. Just to give a little, a little insight on the USFL video, man. Like what I tell people from time to time, it was actually hard to get those shots on the simple fact that we were there to do social, so we had to shoot everything on our phone. So I had to rig up my camera
I
to be able
swear,
to
bro,
hold the phone. So it's like I was surprised that the shots came out so well because I'm literally looking through the iPhone. Like I'm using my iPhone to pretty much navigate everything. So the shots came out pretty well. I couldn't really track the ball like I wanted to. That's why most of the shots are just, just the catches and then, the emotion behind it. But I'm still trying to figure out that tracking with that one. But once I get that one down, it's gonna be over. But yeah, man, it's just the A7S is a beast, man. It's a beast. It's a beast. I love it. I love that camera. I
it's in.
love it. And I still shoot the A7 III as well. So it's still just as good, but I feel in love with the A7S3 now.
So we're talking about the USFL, and I feel like this is a great insert to kind of talk about that time that you and I both had at the USFL. Obviously, we were 3 hours apart. You were operating in Memphis. I was operating as a freelancer in Birmingham. Talk about the hiring. I guess uh, your your expectations going into the USFL and then getting there and then just your 17-week excursion in a summary. What was kind of the process? What were your expectations going into it?
Okay. So how I came about the job was actually surprising through Google. So I was just, how I am now, just, trying to find the next big opportunity for me to get my name out there. And then I seen the job posting. Shout out to Alyssa. She was my first interview, so she said I did well in there. But once they hired me on, my expectation was really just, I was really like quite nervous. Like I was like I want to be a videographer, like, but I don't know how that ties into social media. Like I had no background in social media. I Besides me just running my regular social media, I didn't even know what social media was about, man. So the first three weeks, 3.5 weeks was tough. Like, no, honestly, it was tough. Like just trying to convert my mind to social media. Like, oh, I don't have to spend hours and hours and hours on a video because we need it right away. We needed a practice video right away. So I had to get off of the videography mindset and just get on to like, okay, quick turnaround, quick turnaround, quick turnaround. So it just kind of just it was just repetition, just trying to figure out, where I belong in the social media world. But with the help of my girlfriend, of course, I keep shouting out, but she was definitely, helped me get through those first 3.5 weeks. That was tough, but the expectation was it was high. I didn't know what to expect. Like it was just nerve wracking. So, but once I got my feet wet and the day to day, it became fun.
What was that point in the process where you were like, "Oh, dude, this is clockwork. We're good now." Was it when you you sent me the link for the Amazon product that you use for rigging up your Sony to the iPhone? And I was like, "What the hell is that?" Like, you got to be kidding me. So like it was like what was the aha moment where you were like, "Okay, now this is cake. Now that I can operate both of these." Or was it truly just an uphill battle each weekend trying to figure out, trying to navigate that and execute that thoroughly?
So it was an uphill battle to, I would say, the third week.
Mm.
So the third week is when I kind of like. So the first week going into it, I was nervous on the simple fact that we could have brought our cameras to practice, but it was early, it was quick, it was boom, boom, boom. So I was like, ah. And then Alyssa really needed her stills and then the quick videos. Oh, excuse me, her stills and quick videos. So I couldn't really rig it up. So like my first game was the first time I've ever tried this setup. I should have tried it like, when I got off of work and during the week or something, just put it together and then walk around like downtown or something like, but I wasn't thinking about that. I was going to practice, going to eat, what I'm saying, and just call it a night, talk to my girl and then call it a night. But the first three games was tough because it was like the shots wasn't lining up correctly on both ends at the same time. So it was just like it really was a uphill battle. So after pretty much the third game, I kind of figured out like, okay, maybe I need to move my camera, forward up on. I wish I had my setup. Move my camera forward up a little bit, like the iPhone camera forward up on the camera to where it's on the lens a little bit more, and then just line it up pre-game and then run and gun from there. But yeah, it was definitely an uphill battle for like 3 weeks trying to make sure it's all set.
You're the perfect individual to talk to about the process because you and I both participated in this process. So take me through your pregame rundown and your postgame rundown. Obviously, I wasn't equipped with the knowledge and I wasn't experience as you, but what was it like, I guess, with the pregame and postgame? Because from Fox's vantage point, that was the most crucial product to put out throughout the duration of each week. Those were some points that we emphasized going into each week to make sure that we executed those. For you, was it intimidating? A, but B, was it? I mean, how was the process? How did it take place for you?
It definitely was intimidating, no doubt, no doubt, no doubt. It definitely was intimidating. The first, like I said, the first 3 weeks was the hardest. So until I was able to get a new camera, the A7S3, I rocked with my original A7 III. So my process was pregame. I had two lenses. So my process was pregame was the 28 to 75 to shoot the arrivals. So the arrivals come boom, boom, boom. We shoot that, edit those quick fast. I had the iPhone, had my presets on my iPhone already, so I would just edit that pregame and then try to get that out before kickoff, which was insane to be able to get those out that fast. But those first 3 weeks was crazy. So during the game, I had to switch over to my 70 to 200 and have the camera rig already like preset up to where it's just ready for me to put it on and then go. But yeah, man, it was insane. Like I can't even really explain it how fast and stuff. But the post game was, I really didn't really touch the video post game, mainly because everything, was had to be out for social media on the phone. So there was a little bit of a break on my end for the camera wise, but everything on the iPhone, I was getting that out as fast as I could. So
I was gonna say, so like, I remember, and I'm still trying to figure this out because you sent me all your presets and I loaded them into Premiere and Photoshop, and I still can't get them damn things to where I honestly don't know. You have a secret sauce that is too useful for the rest of your life. It's never gonna come over. And I would watch your photos, bro, and I would like every single day. I was so thorough. I was just at one point I needed to learn how to be a student instead of being an arrogant SOB, because that's
yeah.
what I felt like I was going into it. I was overconfident and I was arrogant. And that whole experience, I feel like at the end of the day was just to humble myself and to reset me and put me in my place. And I think it was what kind of hindered the dynamic between me and my colleague Madison. Shout out to Madison. She just got
Great girl. Great girl. Shout
tremendous.
out, Madison.
Yeah, no. Seriously, tremendous person.
Yeah.
Can't thank her enough. I'm seriously indebted to her, and she cultivated a sense of loyalty, because without her, I don't get that opportunity. She entrusted me, and I just felt like I hope I did a good enough job, but I think on the inside, I have personal feelings about how I did in my performance, and I just feel like I didn't live up to the expectation that was set for me. But nevertheless, I do owe Madison a great deal of respect and just a tremendous person, a workhorse. She's
Oh
like,
yeah.
when we had dinner with Nick, if she hears this, she's gonna kill me. They have a nickname for her at the Fox Sports office called the Machine, because she gets stuff done so fast. And
Yeah.
I just started laughing mid through supper. I'm like, yeah, it's true. But no, shout out to her. She just got an associate producer role with Fox. So
Okay, yo, Madison, shout out. Yo, I'm
shout
about to
out, shout
shoot a message tomorrow. Tell her congratulations, man. I'll
out.
be in my own little world. I'll be seeing nothing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I totally agree with you as far as like it being a humble experience, man. Like I said, the first 3 weeks for me was definitely humbling. Like I had to just like pretty much like I told you earlier, I had to just turn my brain off of videographer and turn it on to social media, because hey, that's what they hired you for, to be social media. Like, yes, your videography skills would drew them to you, but at the end of the day, they want you there for social media. So shout out to Alyssa for entrusting me on, rigging up this
Shout
camera,
out
because
to Alyssa.
she did say, she was like,
You
she
see
did say, because she's like nice, but don't make her mad. But she did say, like, if you're gonna do this, make sure that it does not affect the social media behind it. So I was like, okay. So that kind of added a little pressure to it. But once I kind of figured it out, man, I was like up and rolling. Now it's like, let's go get it. So I'm over here sweating bullets before kickoff even get started, because I'm trying to get all this little setup ready. But yeah, so it definitely was a humble experience as well, man. I learned a lot from social media. I actually enjoyed it going towards the end of the contract. I was like, man, I really like social media more than I thought. Like at first, going in, I was just like, this is an opportunity for me to use my videography skills and put my videography skills on the map. Then at the end, I'm like, man, I love social media, man. This is fun. Like, I ain't got to stress on the videography side that much. Like, it's just, record and then post, man. I love
Yeah, no bullshit. I probably hit strike three before week one. I'm gonna be honest.
that.
I was like, there's no way in hell they're entrusting me with a damn camera if I can't even get the shot with an iPhone. And at that point, I just started questioning myself. I was like, why the hell am I here? Seriously, because it's not from a point of like, oh wow, I suck. It was just like I kind of got myself down into like a mental dump. I was at a point
Yeah,
where I was like, I was missing home, and I was like, I was homesick. I had gotten sick. I was sick for about a week and a half.
yeah.
I was in bed, and Madison was having to pick up the slack. And for those that don't know, I have a weak immune system, so I got the Fab Five of white blood cells, and apparently they were on a bye week that week. So I was not eating anything. I think I lost like 10 pounds that like within that span. It was like 5 to 10 pounds. Crazy. I wasn't eating. When I'd go to practice, I'd get overheated and I'd have to sit down.
Hmm.
just an acclimation process, and it felt like it drug out longer than it needed to be. And
Yeah.
just it was so many hiccups, and the dynamic was just, it was rough going at the beginning. It was just so bad on my part, and it was self-inflicted. And for that, I owe an apology. I owe an apology, honestly, to Madison and Fox, and but I'm indebted, and I'm grateful for the opportunity. At the end of it all, it was smooth sailing, and we ended on good terms.
Oh yeah.
Great. Everything, we ended on a high note. I mean, hell, one of my teams won the championship, so it was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
But
I know that was awesome. I know that was awesome. I was a little salty. I ain't gonna lie, I was a little salty. That was the first, first guy just to go home. You know what I'm saying? So,
you knew you
so
didn't have a chance. You didn't.
hey, look, I'm going into the final week. I'm like, all right, man, we good. We just gotta, we just gotta like, I was telling my girl, like, yeah, I do want to come home. In the back of my head, I'm like, oh, like, I want to stay as long as I can. But yeah, but I like what people need to know, like the USFL, like even though many people don't know about it, man, but it's really like insane. Like it's a grind. Like it's not only for the players, but for the people that actually work for Fox. Like it is hard work. Like easily, like like you said, like you got into your head. Like it could, like if I would have lasted like one more week, I would probably would have been in my head too. Like if I wouldn't have figured it out by week 3, I'd have been like, yeah, man, this I can't do the videography here because, like I said, it was tough. Like it may seem like I had it under control, but nah, man,
and,
it was definitely in my head too.
and I will say this before I transition. Last point I'll make on this. I looked at it from a competitive lens because I really thought like there was longevity in the relationship with, it being a freelance role. I looked at it through so many different perspectives. And at one point I was just like looking at it and I'm like, I'm really at the bottom of the totem pole right now. Like I just felt like
Yeah.
I was like, I feel like I had some sort of pressure on me, and it wasn't like, I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. It was just like it felt like there was a little bit of pressure because I was just like, I don't know, hindered by illness. A lot of the mistakes I made were self-inflicted, and it's just like it was a lesson. It was a lesson in humbling myself. It was a humbling experience. It was a lesson in kind of, you know, don't being overconfident when you go into those experiences, and don't get complacent. It just a big transition, big adjustment, but it's a life lesson for the
Oh
future.
yeah, for sure, for
But
sure.
real
As
quick,
long as we went in. I said one last thing. As long as we went in, came out like learning something, whether it's one thing, two things, or three things, whatever the case may be. Like as long as we went in and actually learned something, like you said, I'm truly blessed for the opportunity to work with Fox and the USFL. Man, I'm truly grateful. Like they took a chance on me, and they didn't have to. Like I said, I had no social media experience whatsoever, so I knew going into that, I was like, if I don't do videography well, I make sure that the social media is up to par. Because, like I said, they took a chance on me, and I had to prove Alyssa right because she was the one that vouched for me. So.
right, and that was going to be my next question. So you read my talk about the dynamic in establishing that relationship with Alyssa, because I feel like it was imperative to formulate a dynamic quick, something that I failed to do. I mean, I guess for me, it was just a matter of, getting over the stuff that I was going through and having to get over my self-inflicted, the hiccups that I was going through in
Right.
order to get to that point. But, I feel like you guys had a tremendous chemistry as well. So talk
Yeah.
about that dynamic and how it kind of cultivated and, you know, navigating the season.
Okay. Yeah. So the relationship, it was actually one of the best boss. She's actually one of the best bosses I've had. Like hands down. Going into it, like basically, I was just trying to prove to myself prove myself to her that she didn't make a mistake. So like day one, like we was doing, I don't know, just like meetings or something. I drive down there, and she was like, "Hey, I need you." Like I drove my car from Houston to Memphis. So that following day, she was texting me on the way, and she was like, "Hey, I need you in the morning. I know you're gonna get here like 2 or 3 a.m. She was like, hey, I need you in the morning for whatever the case may be. I don't remember, but I do remember she said she needed me in the morning. And I was like, okay, I'll be there like at 7. Like, what time do you need me? She was like, oh, you can sleep in a little bit. I was like, no, what time do you need me? And she was like, 7:30. And I was like, okay, I'm there. So I was there, 7:30. I was just trying to prove to her that, I'm here to work. I'm here to not only prove myself, but to prove to her that, you didn't make a mistake. So just being there, because she's a hard worker, man. She's one of the hardest working persons that I've ever been around. Like, she's hardworking. I'm talking practice, taking practice in. She's at the office, like getting ready to work. I'm like, hey, you like, what can I do? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how can I help you? She was like, oh no, you're fine for the rest of the evening, just go home, talk to your girl, relax. I was like, no, what do you need? Like, so just developing a relationship was just, just out of hard work, just each and every day trying to get there whenever she get there, trying to make sure I leave whenever she leave, even though she be picking me out each and every day. But just by hard work, man. It was raining. I think one practice it was raining. She was like, "Oh no, I'm not gonna go out there in the rain." I was like, "You sure? We can go out there. We can go still get some shots. If it's raining or whatever." And she was like, "All right, let's go." So we out there in the rain, just trying to get it. So basically, our relationship formed through hard work because we both was trying to get what we need done, and then I'll make sure that I always try to go above and beyond for her. So even with the little AI thing, I was trying to do above and beyond for her. So she really liked that. But that's how our relationship formed, just out of hard work, man. And she has a great personality too. So she clowns around. She's a little bit funny. She's really, really funny. So
Yo,
we
listen,
got some jokes here and there.
this is jokes here. Oh, no, I real quick. I mean, going back to working with Madison, like, it was. I didn't know how it was going to be coming in. I didn't know what was going to happen in terms of dynamic. I certainly didn't know what was going to happen throughout the first few weeks. As we went through training camp and everything, and then as it progressed, there was a couple of times where it was important, and I think that you guys had probably did this too. It was important that we kind of formulated a dynamic beyond like the workplace. Whether that be you just go get coffee and work on a project.
Right.
I think it's imperative that when you go into those spaces, even going forward into whatever future you have in the creative space, it's important to know what makes the other person tick as a person and kind of just get to know them on a personable level. And as we progress throughout the weeks, I owe a great deal of thanks and appreciation to Madison in that sense, because I think she kind of made that a mission. She knew that there was a work life and a social life
Hmm.
balance. And she was really she really hammered that home and emphasized that. And for that, I mean, just a tremendous human being, selfless, kind of from a coach. I always say it's like kind of a coach's mentality a little bit. It's a little bit of a I'm not gonna lie, it was a little bit of a tough love, like trying to figure it
Oh yeah.
out. Of course, you said that you played football at McNeese, right? Um,
Hmm.
talk about like, for those that there's a harsh reality with sports, because not everybody can make it to the next level from a collegiate standpoint or a professional standpoint. When I was in high
Correct.
school, I found out that my best position was being an ass back. Coach, can I get in the game? No, get your ass back. So
Yeah.
at that point, I found out it was best to probably go into journalism, and that's where I found my niche for sports journalism. Um, I guess what would be some advice for someone that may be an athlete right now, or doesn't have to be, but has thought about going into the creative content side? Um, what would be your best advice for someone trying to pursue that venture? And yeah,
So my best advice would be to an athlete or non-athlete that's, looking to get into the creative space. Just, I know a lot of people say it, but start, just go out there, start shooting whatever, any and everything. And then also don't be afraid to reach out. Like, I've reached out to a lot of people, like a lot of people, and a lot of people have ignored me. But just reach out to me. Yeah, at IJ Visuals, I'll for sure, respond back whenever I can. But I'll for sure get back to you though. But just reach out, man, and then learn off of YouTube, man. YouTube University. I learned everything from photography and videography off of YouTube.
it,
I know it's everybody says it, but it really is true. Like YouTube University, man. Like, and it's now it's TikTok University. I done learned a couple things off of TikTok now. So it's so many things you can learn from the internet now. But just also just keep reaching out to local creatives that's in your area. Like some of them are more than happy to relay that knowledge or experience that they have, and then some are not. But that's just the world that we live in. Some people are help, some people don't. But it's all good. But yeah, so yeah, just reach out, man. That's my big thing. Just reach out to any and everyone. Don't matter how many people deny you, just keep on reaching. I think this is going off topic, but I seen this earlier with Teamworks that I was about to apply for a job, and I had 84 applications within the last year. So that goes to tell you, like total applications. I'd applied to 84 jobs within this last year. So that goes to tell you, like, if I do that for jobs, what do you think I do for, other creators? So I'm sending messages and messages and messages just whenever I want to learn stuff. I done hit you up like a couple of times, on the editing side of it. So, like just reach out, just always reach out.
I'll be sure to blow up your phone whenever we get in. I'll be sure to hit your line. All right. So I'm curious to know, and I don't want to put you on the spot. So if you don't want to
Go
answer the
ahead.
problem,
Go ahead.
said before we went on camera, these were your words that you had some good news. We'll get into it later. Do you want to open up about some of the things you got going on in the future, or do you want to keep it on the low? Up to you.
So, okay, I'll speak a little bit on it, but I won't say, who it's for, but
Damn.
I have been, like I said, I applied to 84 jobs within the last year. So the next job that I'm trying to land is the next step. So it's a big opportunity. Like I said, I don't want to speak too much upon it. Just want to keep the universe open. You know what I'm saying? I do feel good about it, which I have every right. Like I worked hard for it. I feel good about it, but it's like when you see I'll shoot you a text though whenever, it's locked in, but it's definitely a big opportunity. It's the next step to getting where I need to go, for sure.
Look, I've said it before. You're probably tired of this by now, but you deserve it. You deserve whatever opportunities coming your way, brother. You've worked your
I
ass,
appreciate it.
and you definitely are worthy of any position, any endeavor that comes your way. And you know what? I can't thank you enough for being on here tonight, spending an hour just to talk shop, kind of reflect
Yeah.
on the year it's been and the future going forward. Real quick, I got one more for you. Um, what are your thoughts on the XFL and the USFL potential merger? It being your former employer. Uh,
I okay, so before we get into that, so we're gonna restart that one. But I do want to say that if I do get this job, that I do want to come on the podcast and do it again and announce to where I'll be at.
oh,
So
I'll
yeah, so I do you a solid because you're my boy. So I do you a solid.
make that
So
happen.
we get yeah. So okay, so
XFL USFL merger. How do you feel about it? And yeah, what are your immediate takeaways from the news being broken about these two? God, who would have thought, bro?
man, like that's my initial thought was like, what the hell is going on? Like, like this is crazy because whether it was known or not known, but you kind of tell that, well, everybody knew that we were competing, like the spring leagues were competing, but it was a lot more intense competition than I anticipated. Like it was like, oh yeah, we have to, you know, outdo them. We have to do this. Like, oh, the SFL had this. Nah, we trying to beat that. So to see them come together and merge is it's gonna be an interesting thing. I'm excited for the spring league. Now, as far as like creatives, like I'm a little bit worried, like, who do y'all keep? Who do y'all, let go? So, it was a one term contract, so it wasn't like, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like,
You know, oh,
yeah, So like, what are y'all gonna do with creatives? Are y'all gonna add videographers now, or it's just gonna be all iPhone? Because when I was telling people that the USFL was mainly just iPhone footage, they was like, "What?"
um,
Like,
XFL was the exact same way. I don't know if you knew that.
Nah, I did not know that.
The difference between the XFL and the USFL was every single brand. If I can be a little bit more elaborate from studying, now I don't know this, like I don't know the processes and everything, but from studying graphics and everything, these are individual teams with individual social media teams, which are comprised of
Oh,
on average about 5 to 7 people. I know for a fact that the Battlehawks have about 7, which is it's all females that run the social side for the Battlehawks, which the Battlehawks
that's
are
insane.
one of the biggest
Yeah,
fan bases in the X.
yeah. They
And I'm
doing a great job over there.
killing it, bro. No, their socials are freaking, they're a fun follow. But no, so it's like 5 to 7 individuals, at least for the Battlehawks. And I will say from a graphics standpoint, the XFL has a tremendous graphics presentation. Branding for every single team is very strong, very solid. And I'm just curious to know what that transition is going to like. This is just a general question, not even for you to answer.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm curious to know how that's going to influence or how that's going to change going forward if these two teams decide to merge. There's a lot of unanswered questions. You do bring up a good point because social media is a beast in and of itself. Like now you have to change your identity that correlates with the
Hmm.
brand that you've set forth. And so it all just stimulates from that. Then you bring in, ironically, Under Armour, which is on the top. It's, I believe, as one of the talks, or in my opinion, should be one of the talks for being the outright brand if they decide to merge. That's not
Yeah,
saying that that's the thing. It's just hearsay right now.
yeah,
But
for sure.
Under Armour is the sole brand, the sole distributor. They are under contract with the XFL. So it just makes me wonder, are they going to develop a relationship with the USFL and are they going to keep it going forward? So a lot of unknowns going forward, but yeah, bro, same
It's
reaction.
a
What
yeah,
the
it's
hell?
a it's yeah, it's a little bit too much unknowns for because they have what we're in what the end of September.
It's been 3 months.
Yeah, and then the next season for the XFL they start in February. So it's like whatever they decide, they have to decide like now. Like so, it's
Oh,
just too much. It's just too much. Yeah, I don't know. And it's gonna be interesting as far as for the what money, really money and creative side. Like it's gonna be interesting, man. Like a lot of people are they're gonna some both sides gonna have to cut ties point blank period. So
yeah, no, that's a good point. I will say this, I'll fill you in. So you know why they didn't announce, so I'm gonna give people a little bit of background knowledge here, and hopefully, hopefully we can all be adults here. But when we departed from our previous ventures, our previous roles with our previous employer, we were kind of amid structuring what 2024 would look like because late on in the season, social media takes on the task of ushering in 2024. They try to market 2024, the pre-orders and everything under, behind closed doors. I can't speak on what was being discussed, but I can speak on that there were the future for the USFL was going to carry forward, regardless of this surprising merger or whatnot. They were already trying to figure out locations. They were trying to gradually expand.
mhm,
So what that was going to look like going forward, all I know is that they were trying to expand beyond the hubs that they had. That's all I know.
mhm,
July, I guess the timeline now it's been released that back in July, XFL and the USFL picked up their talks to kind of, revamp this idea, or I guess kind of just instill, I don't know what you call
yeah,
it, to propose this idea of merging, which nobody ever thought possible because these are on two different sides of the
yeah,
spectrum. Always saw them as competitors. But in July, I mean, talks got aggressive. Now here we are. We're in a week where we could be seeing this merge being announced by tomorrow. So yeah. I mean, so many unknowns, but apparently in 5 to 7 business days we can have the so
you know, normal turnaround for a bank to refund your money. So 5 to 7 business days. But
oh,
it should be interesting mainly because we all like to watch football. We all like to watch football. So to see those athletes on the XFL come and you know work together and compete against, the athletes from the USFL, which people don't realize the USFL have some really good athletes. Like they have some good athletes. Shout out to my boy Derek Dillon, you know what I'm saying? He went to LSU. Yeah, I had to shout him out, but the USFL has some really, really good athletes. So it's gonna be interesting, man. Like I said, both sides gonna have to cut ties, whether it be players, creators, whatever, but because they gotta make the money work. So in order to make the money work, you gotta let go some people. So
What's this? My bad. All right. That being said, man, I can't thank you enough, dude. I tell you what, every single time we talk, it puts a smile on my face. It's fun to watch
Same.
you grow and you seek new ventures and new horizons and man, I'm deep in my faith and I'm heavily invested in my faith and I've always known it from when I first met you, like God's got a serious plan for you, man. So, whatever endeavor is on the horizon for you, I know you're going to kill it. I know you're going to execute it, and you're just going to grow, man. It's going to be beautiful to watch. And so, if I can provide you any sort of help in any sort of capacity, I'm here for you. And
Yes, sir.
I hope the same. I hope that.
Oh, you already know. You already know. Just a simple message away. Even though sometimes I take a couple of days to reply back, but I'm always there. For you to pick my brain, I'm always there to pick your brain. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I done reached out a couple of times because it's just always about growing and learning, man. So yeah, I'm always down. I'm always down to talk shop about photography and videography. We could talk all day, man, but it's all good. I appreciate you having me on for sure, man. This was great. We should do it again for sure.
We are definitely going to be. You got something in the works, so thank you very much, Marcus. And you've been watching the Strive Sports Podcast. We'll be seeing you next week. We got another one. Another USFL guest is on the docket. You don't want to miss it. So that's coming up next week. Stay tuned. Like and subscribe. Hit the bell notification so you don't miss another episode. Peace and love.
Yes,
Thanks,
sir.
Marcus.
Peace. Yes, sir.